Well, let me introduce the podcast first. So, first and foremost, I appreciate everybody showing up and everybody tuning in. Today we have a very special Pros and Cons podcast titled From Beefin to Brotherhood. And this is hopefully going to be a very impactful podcast, a very informative podcast, and a very motivating podcast. But before we start, we want to give a moment of silence to the young brother who was just found on the east side. So we want to give a moment of silence for the young brother who was just found on the east side. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Sabrina Whitlow-Jones.
Thank you. Let's take about 2 minutes to give a moment of silence to the young man as well as his family, to the young man, Landon Lockhart. Thank you. First, we want to start off with being able to introduce our panelists. If you guys could state your name, the name that you were known in the streets as, the side of town, and your group affiliation. And we can start right here.
Everybody was in Southside, was Ready Rock Boy.
Airville, Southside, Ready Rock Boy / D-Train /
Troy, Northside, Common Truck, used to be a crib on the north side.
Daniel Walker from Detroit was on the south side, Red Rock Boy.
William Miller, Shimmy. I was D-Train, then Ready Rock Boy from the south side.
Leroy Hammonds, south side, 6-pack. Leroy Hammonds,
Derek Brown, they call it Mooch or whatever.
Hold on, real. Hey, we gotta make sure y'all pick up the mic. So we gotta pass the mic so that they can hear.
From the south side of Youngstown, or the D-Train, Ready Rock Boy, south side dude, Youngstown.
Mike Austin, Face, Kimmel Brooks, BCO, also Insane Vice Lord. That was my affiliation.
Tracy Wilkes, Kimmel Brooks, 40 Wilkes. That's the only name I went by. T. Wilkes, DJ T. Wilkes, everything.
That's it?
That's it. Still trying to get request to tap in. I don't know why they're doing it, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. So first we want to start off with being that I am an educator and I'm in the field of education, I like to start off with, childhood experiences. So first, if you guys could help us talk about what type of home were you raised in? Did you have a 2-parent home? Was it a Christian environment? Just give us some background on your home experience.
I was raised in a single parent home, but I had a big family, like aunts and uncles. And my uncles raised me as father figures. They did the beatings. It was a good Christian home. I went to church every Sunday. I was raised in a good family.
Yeah, I was raised by a single mother also, and we had a Christian-like home. All my aunts, and everything are preachers, so I was church affiliated for a lot. But for the most part, my mom just, she did what she could do for us. There was only one man that ever walked in my mother's door. When he walked out, another one never walked in. So that's my home life. It was good. Good home environment.
My mom was a single parent. I didn't have a father. My two brothers, they had a dad. He was around for some time. That's all I knew. Met my father at a later age. Everything was good. My mom held everything down, as good as she could. And for the most part, had a good childhood.
I also grew up in a single parent home with just my mother, but I still had my brothers and sisters. My mother, she did everything she could for me. My father was in and out of my life, but I can say my mother never did nothing wrong. It was just me. I was led the wrong way through the different things that I looked up in my neighborhoods, idolizing the wrong people.
I was blessed, two-parent home. My dad worked forever. He was blessed. I can't complain. I just made poor decisions. I cannot complain at all.
I was raised up in a Baptist home. We knew about religion, but it was floating around our home. We didn't go out too much and represent like that. Single parent home. My mother, she raised us. My father was in and out of our lives when I was a kid and stuff like that. But my mother raised 4 kids by herself without no man input, nothing. And my dad wasn't there to help me grow up to a man. And I learned that in the streets with a lot of my brothers. So that helped influence some of the decisions I made in life, but also made me the man I am today.
I grew up in a single woman home, however, with a stepfather who was there. Funny part, my stepfather taught me everything positive. I'm talking about how to landscape, how to play instruments, how to play basketball, how to play chess, everything positive. However, my influence on my life was my uncle, who was all street. And that was one of the things that fascinated me more, because I was looking at him like he was a square. And it was something that drew me to the streets. It was addiction. But my mother, I grew up in the projects, and I didn't know I was poor. That woman, anything I ever asked for, I had. And she worked jobs. I had it. So I never even really knew. I remember a person said to me, "You think you all that? You stay in the projects." I'm like, so? I didn't know I was supposed to be ashamed of staying in the projects, because my mother made sure I dressed nice, had anything I wanted. But that's a little brief story.
I grew up in a single mother house, and in the Kimmerbrooks. But when you're in the Kimmerbrooks, it's a family, so you didn't lack nothing, to tell you the truth. Somebody had something for you. If your mother didn't have it, somebody in the Kimmerbrooks you can get it from. We was like a family out there, so we didn't
we wasn't without nothing. So me and him stayed right next door to each other, 1395, 1397, right drive. And we just always was there for each other. So, and everybody else, so I can't complain either. You know, I just decided to do what I wanted to do. My mother did very well, and I just decided to hit the streets. That's what I wanted to do. And I ended up in juvenile penitentiary, city jails, county jails, federal penitentiary. You know, but that's it on me though.
So when you talk, please speak into the mic a little more, just so that the audience out there can hear. Be a little more clear.
So can somebody say it?
I already changed
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
I already changed.
My turn?
Yes.
I'm allowed to talk?
Shitty, where you from?
So I grew up on the South Side. Wow, my upbringing was a lot different than y'all. I know my mother loved me, but she was a single parent. She was addicted to drugs, and as a result of some decisions, I wound up at 12 years old out on my own. That's when I met my brother who ain't here, Marlon Gilmore, who introduced me to Eric, and that began my life in the streets as part of D-Train. Then we met Darnell and his brother and morphed into the Radio Rock Boys. I wound up doing 26 years in prison, been home 2.5 years, but that's it. See, I did good.
Okay. He's not going to do this all the time, so he's doing what he's supposed to do. That needs a record.
So I hear a few of you say you grew up in a, your home was cool. You say like nothing was wrong with it, but you chose. Like, what was the draw to the streets?
I say the cars, the girls, the jewelry, what you seen somebody else with. You know, when I seen somebody else with it, I wanted to have it at 15 years old. You know, I went over to JJC at 15 years old because I was in the car with a bunch of guys and we had guns and drugs in there. So they let me out in one day. Then I went right back to the streets. They got me again at 15 and a half, and then that's when they sent me up. So a lot of it starts when they're young, so that's why I try to talk to 15, 14, 13-year-olds because that's where it started. That's where it started with me.
I'm going to say,
So I started literally out of survival purposes, right? But also, part of it was Eric Ville's fault. And I'm gonna tell you why, right? At 12 years old, 13 years old, you don't know who you are, right? But when the homie's clowning you because of your gear, and Eric nicknamed me Early Ill.
That's what I never heard right there.
He nicknamed me Early Ill. And I wasn't dirty, I just didn't have no gear. And so Early Ill stood for Dirty Will. And so I literally said, you ain't about to talk about me like that. And so I went to go find some drugs so I could start selling them, so I could start having me some gear. And that's extremely important because young people are so influenced by what they see and by their peers. And because I was always the youngest out of all of us, so I looked up to these dudes. So how they viewed me mattered more than anything else. It mattered. So I'm like, I need to be like the homies instead of playing football.
Mine was different. My uncles, them all got locked up in one walk. they left. They left me with 8 women, all older than me. And at this particular time, prior to my uncles and them being locked up, I had never seen any form of disrespect to that part of my family. I told Tracy, we went half on a 25 and a marriage to keep. Get it locked. And I said, man, ain't no disrespect on it. I took a aggressive front. And because when my uncles and them was out, they never let me sell drugs. Never forget a story my Uncle Gilly did. He said, man, I'm about to teach you how to hustle. I'm thinking he's about to give me this drugs. I tell Tracy, I'm about to come back with some drugs. We got drugs. The man brought me up here hair clippers, a lawnmower, and a shovel, and told me you can hustle all year round. You ain't about to do what we do. And when they left, I ain't had that guidance no more. All I had was me and my rap. And we agreed to go at it. Double.
Okay, my situation is with my oldest brother. My mother, she was a social worker. She lost her job for about a year. And my oldest brother, he disappeared for like 2 weeks. Nobody could find him. He wasn't in the neighborhood or nothing. He come back with a bag full of money, bag full of drugs. Now, growing up in Detroit, you see all this type of stuff. You see the cars, the trucks, the music, the jewelry, the women. You see all that. So I never had a chance to like get my hands on it. So once my brother did, my eyes just lit up. So I said, yeah, it's on. But he threatened me, my youngest brother. He said, but I'm gonna catch y'all over here. I'm gonna mess y'all up. So we never did nothing until he got locked up. So about the same as Mike's. Once he got locked up, we felt like we had to take care of the family because my mother, she was about to lose her house, and we was about to get evicted. So he wasn't gonna allow that. So when he came back, he gave her the money, get caught up on our mortgage, put food in the house, put clothes on our back. And then after that, it was on from there. He got locked up. We had to take over. We got to take care of the family now.
With me, just like in the opening when we was talking about being raised by a single parent, you know, I was like in the mind state, the struggle is all the way real with my mom, and she doing the best she could. So I took it. I'm like, I got 2 older brothers. I'm like in the middle child, like the youngest boy, and I got a younger sister up under me. It was 4 kids and my mom. And I took it upon myself trying to make it easier on her by leaving and going out there and doing for myself. You know, it was easy for me to make that choice because I already had a crew. You know, a dudes. We was all being raised the same way, you know, our mothers were struggling and all that, so we felt that we could make it a little bit easier on the family. So we go out here and get this easy money, you know what I'm saying, and whatever came with it. So that was part of my decision making.
Yeah, as Derek was saying, single parent, my mom worked all the time, always was at work. So at the time, I always made bad decisions. I always was out in the streets at the time that she was at work. During the time she was at work, I just found myself just roaming up and down Elm Street. Nothing happened good on Elm Street. Found my way doing all kind of different things. It wasn't the drugs at the time. The bad part took place first, before the drugs. I started doing all kind of crazy stuff. But the drug was always there. It was always an open door, you know? And I got into that gang, you know what I'm saying? And from there, I just mixed the 2 together. When I mixed the 2 together, everything came bad. I stayed in trouble, you know what I'm saying? That's why everybody called me Trub. I made bad decisions for everybody else that was around me. Wow. You know, so I got everybody in trouble. So that thing just stuck with me, you know what I'm saying? But it's a hard road. It was a hard road at that time of me growing up. And just for me, I want to say I'm glad that I'm here. That's the most part. For what I did, I'm glad that I'm here. And I'm glad that I woke up at the right time, you know? So it's I just want to say right now, right here, it's a beautiful thing just sitting at the table with all these guys right here, you know? Beautiful thing, you know? Because me, I hated some of y'all. I'm gonna be real. Even that motherfucking Ready Rock shit just irritated me, man. I feel you, man. But look, I love y'all too. I love y'all dudes, man. It's a beautiful feeling to meet guys that you didn't like and embrace the same, you know, conversation and realize these is good dudes. Truthfully, to be honest, man. You know,
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes, sir.
So I know you said you mentioned Trub, you said, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned, you know, you're glad you woke up. So my question to you guys, what forced the transition from the streets?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I mean, just going back and forth to the pen, like I was in and out. And I just got out 2015.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And some of these guys just been out for a year or two. You know what I'm saying? But they went in and did a lot of time, and then just came home. I in and out. You get sick of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to make that change. Definitely make a change, man, for the better, for yourself. You know.
Well, another thing, I didn't like the Ready Rock Boys neither. I'm just gonna say that. Coming from the Kennebrooks, I didn't like them. And they didn't like us. It was just the feelings were mutual. You know, we try to hit 8 Market to get to the mall. We don't make it because they jump on us. Or we get to the mall and they jump on us. So coming, I'm gonna fast forward to 1993 when I was in the streets selling drugs. And I was in the streets. I started hanging around a guy named Ready Rock Rick from the South Side. Everybody knows him as Rick Edwards. And I'm with him over his house, you know, doing our little thing, the 1-2 and stuff like that. And I didn't know it was a guy in there working for the feds. So the guy was wired up, and he was talking to us, and he was just standing around, wired up, videoed up. He had the video on, he had the wire on, everything. So a couple months later, I'm riding through the Kimmerbrooks where I always be at with Mike Austin, and the police pull us over. So Mike Austin is out on bond for a murder. So I'm thinking, oh, they're coming to get Mike. I'm saying, they're gonna get Mike ass today. I don't know what he's done. So the officer come to the car. He said, Mike get out the car, asked the officer, what's going on? What do we do? Mike come back to the car. He said, hey, you got a Fed case. I said, what? I got a Fed case? So when they pulled me out the car, they put me in back of the undercover car. They got a picture of me and they got a picture of Territon Collier on the dashboard. I'm like, what they got me and Territon from? Territon, a Ready Rock boy. I don't mess with them like that. So the officer come back. He said, listen, you got a warrant out for your arrest with the feds. You are a part of the Ready Rock Boys. I said, what? He said, yeah, you are a part of the Ready Rock Boys. I said, there's no way. No way possible. I said, y'all doing something corrupt. I said, y'all know good and well I don't deal with them. They said, oh yeah, you're part of the Ready Rock Boys today.
They knew that too.
And they knew it. So they took us downtown. I see Darnell, I see Man, I see Rick, everybody arrested. They went through the whole city. They went to the whole city real quick. So they took me to Cleveland. They said, yeah, you got a warrant you got an indictment for being a part of a Ready Rock. You're looking at 33 years in the penitentiary. I said, oh my God. That was it for me. I told my mother on the phone, I said, I would never touch a drug again, ever. That was the last time I ever sold drugs, 1993. That was it. Because once they arrested me, they put me in there and they started giving us time like crazy. Lives, 30s, 20s. They weren't playing around. They was getting us off the streets. They said, we gonna get all y'all today. And within 48 hours, almost they had all of us. The only one they didn't have was Territon. It took a little time to get him. And it was like,
They had all of us. That was showing us that they weren't playing.
Character was a little crafty back then.
Yeah, he moved around pretty good, but they ended up getting us all off the streets, you know, and it was a good thing, though. I'm gonna keep it real. The time that they gave us wasn't right, but it was a good thing that they got us off the streets, because we either be dead or we'd have been to kill some more people, because everybody that was in my crew had murder charges, every last one of them. I didn't have not one person near me that didn't get charged with murder. I mean, every last one.
What was the question?
The question was, like, what forced you to transition? A lot of guys say the penitentiary, but, you know, sometimes guys go to the penitentiary and get right back out and do the same thing. So I just wondered, what was that one? Was it a situation? You just brought one up, Tracy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What was it that really led to you finally saying, yo, I'm done with this?
The funny thing about
Make sure y'all talking to the mic.
Pick it up.
the funny thing about making the transition is you can make the transition, but the people around you ain't ready for the transition that you made. Wow. So you find yourself dumbing yourself down just to be around people. You see what I'm saying? And it was crazy, because I came home, I changed so much out of 10 years. I couldn't show nobody, because I had to jump right back into being Leroy Hammonds because of the trials and tribulations of life. No job. I wouldn't have worked at Wendy's. My shoes were so greasy. And the check was like some for a high school student to pay for his prom or something. I felt less of a man, but I went to my friend Peaches White at Wendy's up on Market Street. And I asked her for a job because my P.O. O'Malley, and everybody know how O'Malley played the game. He was vicious. But I gave her my word, and I went and worked. But I said, hey, homie, thanks. I appreciate it. I tried not to let you down, but I can't do this. And I had to revert back to the streets, and I started doing the same stuff I was doing back in the 90s. They put me back in prison. That was crazy.
I want to send William to share, but I want to say real quick, man, I respect all of y'all, because from the highs that y'all were on, making a lot of, I mean, that's a lot of money y'all was making back in the day, to go to prison and actually have the humility to return to something like a Wendy's worker or something like that. That takes a stronger man than you know. Most people will call that weak, but that's the strength and humility that y'all have. So I appreciate that, and this is I like what I'm hearing so far. So I got some more to share with y'all a little later.
So for me, it was, so when I got locked up, I was angry. I was, obviously I'm locked up for something I didn't do, so I'm mad, and I was fighting a lot. And then my little brother got killed. Like a year after I got locked up, my baby brother got killed by a Crip dude. And so I'm mad, so I'm fighting you a Crip, we fight. I ain't even gangbanging, but we fighting. And so a dude I used to play basketball with all the time, he was a blood. And he was like, man, if you're going to put work in like that, you might as well come on this side. I ain't care. I'm like, all right, bet. And so I started banging. Fast forward 3 years, I get transferred to another institution. We get into this big gang fight, blood and Crip fight. I wind up going to solitary confinement. While I'm in solitary confinement, they give me assault on the officer. So in solitary confinement, they put me in more solitary confinement. I wasn't allowed out my cell. I wasn't, unless they had me shackled and handcuffed, and they had to have a video camera on me and all that stuff. But I wasn't allowed out my cell at all. And I'm in there by myself. And I sat there, and I got into this fight just because I had met these dudes. Like, I had been on the compound 2 weeks, but because they said they was bloods, and I'm a blood, we gonna roll. And so, but when I go to the hole, I'm in there by myself. And they don't know me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting in my cell, man, and I'm like, it's like, I always tell this story, it's probably like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And anybody, all of us know this. If you've been in the hole in prison, you don't got no hygiene, using butter to put as lotion, you know what I'm saying? The mirrors look like them fun mirrors at the carnival, so you look bad. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm standing there, man, and I'm like, in my heart of heart, I knew that wasn't who I was. Like all the stuff that I did my whole life, I knew that wasn't who I was. In my heart, I just wanted to play football. I was a football player. That's what I wanted to do. Every decision that I made was out of survival. And I just stood there, man. I'm like, man, God, I don't want to be this dude, man. I don't want to be the dude that you can say anything negative about and everybody gonna believe it. And literally, 2 minutes later, the dude in the cell next to me, white guy, started talking to me through the vents. And that started my life changing.
Wow. That's a story y'all told that I think is real important as far as you during that time. Imagine being in prison for something you ain't do, and you run across the guy who testified on it. Imagine that. We was in Chillicothe. When was that, 96? I see this cat walking across the yard. He limping. I say, shoot, he ain't got no limp. What are you doing? I run down there. This guy got a sword in his pants leg. He's going to kill this dude for testifying on it, for doing 26 years for nothing he didn't do. I stopped this man and talked to this man so much, and I felt wrong because it was the right thing to do, because I don't know what I would have did. But at the time I had matured so far. I say, man, the best thing to do is get him writing affidavits. Get back to court. Remember that, bro? That's the story you forget, man. That's the transition. It's really mind-boggling, the things that we got to go through, for real, and still be here, up here to talk about this stuff.
That's why I think, real quick. That's why man, Keelan, thank y'all, but on real talk, man, I so thank y'all, man, for, and I said this before, this was actually Tracy's idea. Me and Tracy chopping it up on, Christmas Eve or something, he DJing the party, and on some real stuff, and because this is what this was just about, and I have some ulterior motives also that I'm gonna get to, right? But one of them I'm gonna get to right now. Cause he asked me, he like, man, and Darnell had asked me, he like, man, what's up with Eddie? And I'm like, man, I don't know what's up with Eddie, man. I ain't rocking with Eddie. You know what I'm saying? And Tracy like, nah, bro. Nah, we done went through too much. We done came through too much, man. Y'all gotta talk. Y'all gotta deal with that. I'm like, man, I ain't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? He like, nah, bro. And he just stayed in my ear all while I was up there. And he was like, man, for real, this is the stuff that these youngins need to hear, man. This is what you need to have on your podcast. And I just like, bam. I said, you know what? We about to do it. And I called Tracy, and I left the barbershop. First person I called was Darnell. The second person I called was Mike, and I just kept making the calls, and it was like, it was meant to be, because didn't nobody say no. He ain't aired, and he ain't on it for real. But then nobody, because I've been trying to get him to do stuff, you know what I'm saying? I've been feeling some type of way, like, because I'm trying to do some stuff, and I'm like, the homies ain't really there, you know what I'm saying? Like I would want them to be, right? And, you know, Keelan done been in my ear, people that have been in my ear be like, no, this your journey. You know what I'm saying? Whether they there or not, this your journey. But it was just, I had this vision that we was going to do this. It wasn't never just me, it was we. And I had to change that, right? But Tracy was like, nah, we got to do this. And so I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? For being up here, because I know, you know, Sabrina said, me and Darnell, and Mike, you know, we do this. Everybody else gonna do this. So I appreciate y'all, man, really being up here, man, because I feel like it's gonna be impactful. These young dudes need to hear it, because when you talk to these young dudes nowadays, you know, they look at you like, man, who is this old dude? Like,
But I understand that too. But I want you and Eddie to make, you know, to get together.
we in, bro.
Okay, that's what I want. I want that.
Let me, one thing really quick, what made me get my transition. My son got sentenced 80 to life. My namesake, Michael L. Austin Jr. And he got sentenced to 80 to life. He fighting for it. But when he first got sentenced, I had rage in my head. I'm coming out, everybody got to pay. Everybody. I called him. Before I was able to get my revenge, because I had 2 other brothers come see me, and they really couldn't talk me out. He looked me in the face and said, man, we did everything wrong together. Let's do everything right. And at the time, I couldn't feel it. I'm looking at him like, I'm saying in my head, they got to pay my baby. My son, lightweight, borderline a genius. When you talk, anybody that ever talked to him, he borderline a genius. Now he's sitting up in the same prison gates I was in. So when I come out here and talk to the youngins, I talk to the youngins from that point of view. The reason I sit there and deal with the youngins, the reason I sit there and coach that game, the reason I like the little hard-headed dudes we had on our team, I had them. I ain't get mad at them. Tracy like, man, I got them. I can deal with them. Because I wasn't there to deal with my son and protect him from the same system I went down. So that's the reason, and the reason that I changed. That's the reason I try to give the best of me. And I fall short.
And a lot of y'all don't know, Michael Austin Jr., was charged with like 4 counts of murder in Youngstown. My brother, Willie Woods, he's on death row. He was charged with a couple murders. My cousin, Mark Brown, he was on death row from Youngstown, executed. Everybody that I grew up with is, either already executed or about to be executed. And some of them got another chance, like Mike got another chance on his murder case. It was like the 90s, everybody say Youngstown was good. Youngstown was great. If you go back to the statistics of 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, I grew up with Flip Williams. I'm from the Kimmerbrook, that's where he was from. He raised Mike. He raised that, that's Mike's family. Flip was charged with 4 counts of murder. It was just bad. The 90s was just bad. It was just terrible. And a lot of us have changed our lives, and we're trying to become better men, for what we went through. And if we talking to some young people, I just hope they would listen to us, because we done been through it. It's just like, when you growing up in the projects, Westlake, that's why I started at Westlake, and then we went over to the Kimmerbrooks. And it was just like murder all day, murder, shootings, stabbings, fights. It was like black people didn't like each other. That we just hate each other. And sometimes it feels like that now, that we just do not like each other. I don't understand it. Sometimes I get mad at black people. I told my wife before, I said, I think I'm about done with black folks. I can't be, but I do say that sometimes. I'm about done. Why don't we like each other? I just don't understand that. Why don't we, some of the guys up here would let me know, why don't we like each other? Because it's just like we despise each other. We jealous of each other. We don't want to see the next person get along. You see Arabs come over from overseas and they get along. You get Chinese people in this country, they get along. White folks, they'll bar fight in a minute. They'll bust each other upside the head in a minute in a bar fight. But they ain't gonna pull no pistol out. If a white person pull a pistol out, they shoot. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They don't pull their guns out. They don't use them against each other. They fight each other. They'll fight like for an hour in a bar, but they ain't gonna shoot. If a black man and another black man fight for an hour in a bar, before they get to their car, somebody dead. That's just it. I just don't understand it. Why can't we come together and be as one with each other? Why can't we help lift each other up? And I just, Sabrina, maybe you can tell me. What can we do? I don't know. Somebody tell me something.
So that's a good question. That's the question I was going to raise. Like, what influences that? Like, what do you think it is that helps us to be just so either jealous of each other or ready to fight? Like, I like to. For me, I think it's like what we see in the media, what we see in TV, what we see or hear through music. I think what we digest in all of these platforms, I kind of influence a lot of that. Do y'all think so? And is cinematic presence of what drugs or the hustle is, do you think that's a large influence, was a large influence on y'all as well as the generation today?
So I think what we see and what we consume plays a big part. But more, even deeper than that, when you look at society, right? Someone told me this before. When you look at the pecking order, the hierarchy in society, it's the white man, it's the white woman, it's the black woman, it's the other, and then it's the black man, right? My physical therapist, who is a white man, said, as a black man, you look to be the hero in your community. And as soon as you step outside of that community, you looked at as shit, right? So we fight amongst ourselves for that piece of validity. Even if we don't realize that what we do, that's why respect means so much. Because respect says, I'm valued. We just had a distorted image of what respect was, and we was willing to kill each other for it. Right? People don't really understand the significance, and that's why I wanted the significance of us being up here. Like, I grew up with Eric and Eddie and Derek, right? But at one point, Eric blew my car up because we was beefing. At one point, I sat at 2 o'clock in the morning in his garage waiting for him to come home so I can kill him. Right? At one point, me and Derek fell out. And bro, I told you this before, and I tell you this again, man. I apologize. For the bottom of my heart, I apologize. I shared the bed with Leroy when I didn't have nowhere, right? But I was willing to kill him about some money. But we sitting up here right now. I sat on my bed for years. And I said, man, it would be so dope to come home and not have no beefs. To come home and brothers is getting along. And when I came home and I seen brothers eating together and buying each other drinks and supporting each other, at first it messed me up. I'm like, hold on, what? Like, is there some angles here? Like, what's going on? Even though this is what I desired, when I actually seen it, it was weird. And now we supporting each other. That's why from Beefin the Brotherhood, like we was trying to kill each other. But we ain't just was fighting with each other. We was trying to kill each other. And now to see us up here together, trying to do something, trying to make an impact on these youngins, all of us ain't gonna do it the same way. Leroy took his lessons and he a dope dad. You know, I'm pulling Darnell with me kicking and screaming. Right? All of us, because what we realized was what we were willing to kill each other over ain't about nothing. It ain't about nothing. Your ego, some false pride, some false respect. Because at the end of the day, even if I kill Leroy, it's going to be somebody else that I'm probably going to have to kill because they're going to try me. So if that's how I'm going to solve my situation, a dude told me that I was in Lucasville and some dudes was about to jump me out of Cincinnati. Because the dude said something to me and I beat him up and his homeboys wanted to jump me. And one of they dudes said, man, Shimmy, if this is how you handle your problems, what's going to happen when you run across a dude who you can't whoop? He going to whoop you and still talk about you. You got to start handling your problems differently. And so if there's nothing else, man, we've learned to handle our problems differently. We was able to live through it. Prison might have saved our life. We was able to live through it and realize, you know, our elders used to always tell us, just live long enough, you'll learn better.
And I want to let all the young cats out here know, all y'all out here right now, like Darnell sitting here right now in the middle with that brown sweater on. Only reason he on the streets right now is for President Obama. That's the only reason. He the life of L. When you look his name up on the system, it said natural life. That he would never be on the streets again. When Obama took over as president, Obama looked at all the cases and he said, there's no way. Some of these guys, some of these women, or some of these guys got to come home. And, you know, his lawyers fought and kept fighting. His family fighting to get him off that life. And Obama told him, okay, you give me a couple more years and I'm going to let you go. And that's why that man is sitting right there right now. You know, don't go in his footsteps. Don't do what he did. I'm telling you. I never looked at no life bit. I always tried to sell enough dope that I knew I wasn't gonna get that much time. I still caught a federal case. I tried to keep it a little bit of drugs, just a little bit of drugs that'll keep me from the penitentiary. But you know, I got caught. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I sold $2,000. I sold to the undercover $2,000 worth of crack, and I did almost 8 years in the penitentiary. So $2,000 is worth, and I could have got more time than that if I went to trial. But I knew I was guilty. But that man sitting right there is a good friend of mine. He had a natural life sentence. And me and him sat right next to each other. When the lawyers came in and said, Tracy, you want to take this plea bargain? I said, yes, sir, I'll take it. Darnell sat right next to me. They didn't offer Darnell not one plea bargain. They said, oh, you going to trial. You the ringleader of this group, you going to trial. And when they found him guilty, it was a sad day because they told him you got natural life. Life in the federal penitentiary. And Obama is the reason this man's sitting here right now. And I thank God for it.
I know, Eric, you had a couple things that you wanted to express.
Yes, I was trying to get to Tracy's question. I mean, give him just a small sampling of an answer. You know, we all sitting up here. We all from different sides of town, south side, north side. I wish we had some west siders here. Oh, okay. You know, okay. Because you know, we for the most part, what it was is what I would call the unknown. When you don't know somebody, then you treat them different. And once we all went to penitentiary and we had to rely on each other, that right there brought us together. That's why we can do this now. Other than that, we could have never done it. So it's that unknown factor that, you know, that plays a part in the beef. I'm beefing with you because I don't know you. You don't know me. So that's part of the answer, you know. And once you get to know somebody, then you can have this brotherhood. You know, you can sit here, we can talk, we can give it to the kids, you know. We can give it to the kids. Other than that, you know, we can't give it to them. They don't know, you know. And this is the problem that's going on in the streets right now. You know, it ain't the money, it's not the drugs, it's that unknown factor. They don't know. Until somebody teach them, they're still, you know, they're still in that pickle. They don't know. So we got, you know, Shimmy, he drags me, he tried to drag me along, you know, trying to get me out of here, you know, but you just gotta, you know, we gotta find a way to get to them. If you know, you can reach them in some form or fashion. You can give them that knowing, you know, that answer. I think it'd be better, but it's hard, you know, and everybody not going to listen. You know, it could be 100 out of them. If you get one, you done your job.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
You know, you get one, you done your job because everybody's not going to listen. But if you can get them to listen, I think, you know, and give them an answer to some of their questions, I think they'd be better off.
See, with me is, and I'm going to tell a story of, I don't even think Tracy would probably remember this. Yeah, we didn't get along with them from the Brooks. We don't even know why. They can't say why. I can't say why. None of us can say why. But one day, me and Tracy ended up downtown. I had to pay something. I was paying something for court, and he was there, you know, doing the same thing. So for some reason, we just struck up a conversation, and we got to talking. And first thing he said out of his mouth was like, damn, you ain't not like how everybody say you was. I said, nah. I said, listen, if me and you was cool, and you got a problem, you come to me, we gonna handle it. But the whole thing about it was, this question still lingers like, why did we not get along? And that's the same thing going around now. But most importantly, now what I see and hear with these young guys, it's mainly girls. It's not about money. It's not about drugs. It's about girls. So this girl messing with this guy, then she started messing with somebody else. Y'all can't fault her for that. So why would y'all pull guns on each other, try to kill each other behind that? That's something y'all can't control. You know, that lady, she living her life. So once one of y'all dead, another one going to prison, she on to the next person.
Quick.
Not putting her down or nothing like that. But this is just how life is.
Life choices.
That's right.
And another thing Tracy touched on was about me, and I want to answer one of Keita's questions too. My transition was my first 9 months.
Wow.
My first 9 months was, I'm surprised I'm still alive. I got shot 10 times, 4 different occasions. That was nothing compared to my first 9 months locked up. My first 9 months locked up, they made me out to be John Gotti or somebody. And it wasn't even like that. This case was so small, but so big at the same time. They offered, like he said before, they offered everybody pleas but me. They wanted me to tell on somebody in Detroit. I wouldn't do it. So what happened to me? I got a life sentence. I got a life sentence for something I wasn't even charged with. And the whole thing about it was, going through that the whole 9 months, I started sitting back thinking about everything. Like, it's maybe 4 or 5 people on this panel right here that I actually have beef with and don't know why. And so I sat back and thought about it. And I guarantee you, I can say which ones they is and ask them, do they have a problem with me directly? And I guarantee you they say no. I guarantee you this. But the whole thing about it was, we didn't never come together and sit up there and say, what is the problem? We didn't have that mediator. But for all the young guys out there now, if you listen to this and you don't want to go through this, talk to one of us. One of us will try to mediate anything and everything to stop it, because it's not worth it. Losing your life is not worth it.
Taking somebody's life ain't worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like, you know, we started off with a moment silent for the little 14-year-old guy. He didn't deserve to lose his life. I don't care what it was about. He didn't deserve to lose his life. He didn't have to go. They put his mother through hell for 2 months, not knowing where he's at or what happened. But the whole thing about it is, it's all about talk. It's all about knowing somebody to try to stop it. Like, the things I went through, I would never wish on my worst enemy. For me to sit there and to have a life sentence. And I actually did my research. Yeah, I'm from Detroit. I came down here to sell drugs, but nobody else from this area got a life sentence for drugs. If I'm wrong, please tell me. But I haven't seen nobody in the federal system in this area get life for selling drugs. And you don't have to know anything about drugs, but it's something I want to do something before I get off. I want something to sit in everybody here. I got a life sentence for 2 ounces of drugs.
Hey, I just wanted to say something before we moved on. A lot of us, we up here, and y'all hear a lot of these stories, man. We got lucky. A lot of us got lucky. Or blessed, or blessed, or whatever you want to call it. And we older now. We in our 40s, late 40s, early 50s. You know what I'm saying? We ain't have panels coming together to teach us, help us out, guide us. You know, for all those that think we just, you know, blowing a lot of smoke, just being heard, take heed, man. Take heed to this, because you don't want to be where we at right now trying to figure it out. We got to deal with it. We going to live on, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't have to be this way. Y'all young enough to still make that decision, like, man, maybe this ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I had to say about that.
Panel?
So, 8 of y'all. So for me, I'm looking at 8 of the most influential people in Youngstown right now. And that's from when y'all was young. From the ages of, I would say, I heard the average age of y'all starting was 15 in what y'all do. Super charismatic, each and every one of y'all, just in life knowing y'all. Always been the same guys that I knew from even when I was young to after y'all returned home. And it was, for me, it was never threatening. I kind of looked up to y'all. Like, I was on Glenhaven. So anybody who knows where Glenhaven, that was the central spot for where everything was. But I mean, y'all might not recognize my face, but I was right there with y'all. But y'all did have influence. And not always in the most negative way. Some people take things different, but y'all was charismatic. How do we teach some of those? I mean, we're already older. How do we teach some of these younger folks in the 20s that are influencing the 14, the 13, the 12? How do we teach them? Because that's who they're going to look up to. How do we teach them to use their charismatic ways and the charisma to change this lifestyle? Like, because each one of those generations, they connect, but they're also disconnected, just like we're disconnected all the way, but we connect in some type of segments. Like, I can remember being on Glenhaven playing football, and Ready Rock boys right down the street, you know, we'll play street football, and cats called me High Five. Like, that was cool to me. Like, you guys like that? You know what I mean? So, you know, that's my news. But I knew because of my household what I wanted to transition away from. How do we teach that? How do we teach that transition as, you know, to the 20-year-olds?
Go ahead.
A lot of times, we have to teach them how to build what they consider success now. We got to teach and redefine what success is. Yeah. Because we got a distorted image on what success is. Most of us was out there surviving even though we had all that money. We was surviving. And when you could really tell the truth and have them actually feel it and realize, like, the only thing we was doing was surviving. We was surviving the police. We was surviving the jack boy. We was surviving the murderers. We was surviving. But we made it normal. So what we got to do is teach them what's really normal and stop living abnormal. Wow. Because that's the complex thing. Because a lot of us that normalize what's normal. That's like even the simplest thing. When I went to prison, I seen red bricks. I grew up in red bricks. So it wasn't even nothing abnormal to me. I just thought I walked into the projects. It wasn't nothing abnormal to me. I had stayed in these red bricks forever. So when I walked in prison, the only thing I was missing was a female. Then I found out a way to knock one of them. I was good. It wasn't a situation. But with all that said, we have to teach them how to go at things normal. So a lot of people tell these guys they doing wrong, but tell me how to do it right. Yeah. It's like even with the drugs. We're going to talk about the drugs. Even with the drugs. And this example, I say, not to normalize nothing, but every poison almost known to man is used to cure disease.
Say that again?
Every poison that's known to man is used to cure disease. And the particular disease that most guys that selling drugs is trying to cure is poverty.
Facts.
Wow.
So let's teach them how to come up out of poverty. Because if we don't teach them that, they're going to be able to keep living abnormal instead of normalizing what's really normal.
Wow.
It's a Latin phrase called reductio ad absurdum. And it means to reduce the absurd to a state of normalcy. That's what Mike was talking about. It's absurd at 14, 15, 13 to carry a pistol. It's absurd to be sitting in the dope house at 12 years old with nothing but a heater and a couch and a gun. That's absurd. But we made it normal, like you said. And to your question, we got to connect with people. Keep on talking about, man, the youngsters too far gone, man. They too wild, they too this, they too that. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. All the stuff we was talking about, we was their age when we was doing it. If we had social media, it would have been a whole different thing. We was way crazier than them, way wilder than them. We just didn't have social media to show all of it, right? So the first thing we got to do is connect with them by stop being scared of them.
For sure.
Because at the end of the day, they scared. Real talk. A lot of stuff that we see it being done is out of fear. So stop being scared of them. Connect with them and let them understand that they got a voice and it's valid. But like Mike said, we're going to show y'all how to do this. We're going to show you how to do it a different way. We're going to show you how to look at it a different way. Because like when I went to prison, I became Muslim after I gang banged and all that. I was always looking for something because I was abandoned as a kid. I was always looking for a group to attach myself to, right? I just always picked groups that were just on some bull crap. But when I became Muslim, I started changing my life around. That white guy that I talked about, he was a Muslim. And he started giving me different information and stuff. So fast forward, I meet a sister who was working in there. And one of my dudes introduced us. And he had told her about me. And she said, I heard about you, but I can't see that in you. And I was like, that's what Islam did to me, right? It gave me guidance. It gave me parameters that I couldn't violate. It didn't give me no wiggle room to do certain things, right? As young men, especially young black men, because we come up so hard, we need those things. And even though they buck them, and that's my son right there, even though they buck them, they desire those things because they don't know where to go. They don't know really which decisions to make. So we have to be consistent with showing them how to make those decisions. I can't do this and then I can't talk to him for an hour and then he gone and he with his homeboys for the next 23 hours or the next week because everything I said to him is a waste of time. So when he run across Tracy got to be telling him the same thing. When he run across Eddie got to be telling him the same thing in their own way, but they steady getting it, right? Sooner or later, it's like, okay, there must be something to this. But the first thing we got to do is stop being scared of them and start connecting with them and start letting them know we understand where you at and why you there because we've been there. We understand that poverty is a motivation factor for you want to sell dope. We did that. We understand when you walk out your house, you don't see no no flowers and no green grass and all of these things contribute to you just being angry. We understand that you don't really know how to deal with conflict. So you want to pick up your pistol because as a black man, the only emotion we are allowed to show in society is anger. If I cry, I'm weak. If I walk away from a conflict, I'm weak. So the only thing that's acceptable is me pulling out a pistol and shooting you with it or smacking you upside your head. Everybody shows me, I get respect for that.
That's an R.
That's why I said it.
Environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because other environments they don't get down like that. They solve them a different way. So we definitely got to keep talking to these young people. And if we got to go to the bars or the after hour joints to do it, then I think we need to get together and do it.
With that said, right? This started at home.
Oh yeah,
Y'all gotta hold y'all kids accountable.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
The respect is dead because the parents are holding their children's hands and not allowing them to grow naturally. Meaning, me, brothers and sisters, you got kids, your friends, all of us. How is your children allowed to disrespect any of us? See what I'm saying? A child can come home right now and say, I don't like auntie or I don't like cuz. Well, why? I don't like them. Well, I don't like them either. You ain't allowed over here no more. You ain't got to respect them. So the respect is long gone. With everything we did, it still was respect.
Oh, yeah.
We had to respect something. Our parents, neighbors. It was demand respect.
There was certain people you didn't want to
You
use
could,
in front of.
you have to respect certain people. Just the best thing to do is, man, hold y'all kids accountable. It start at home. It start at home. If your kid irresponsible at home, he gonna be irresponsible in the streets. In life, not just the streets, because I don't want to say that like just streets like, because when you say streets like that, it's just the dusty part of the streets. No, I'm talking about in general, overall.
And don't be trying to come fight Sabrina because she chastised.
Right.
Sabrina ain't having it. Sabrina ain't having it.
But now you gotta go to your professional voice. So you gotta
stay
cuss somebody out
professional
without cussing.
when they child wrong.
Right.
Panel.
Right. So I definitely agree with the holding the kids accountable, holding the parents accountable. Do you think? So we're sitting in the Urban Scholars, and this is to me is one of the dopest places in Youngstown, dopest educational facilities in Youngstown.
Yes, sir.
Do you think the entire Youngstown school system could learn something or add programs that help in that manner for getting people off the street? Because that's kind of that is what Urban Scholars does. Do you think there could be a preventative program in each Youngstown City school? And if so, would you all want to be a part and run it?
That's what I was trying to get to. Like for the kids, it's something that we need to come together and just like we sitting at this table, have a class and teach these kids like what we went through is serious. I thank God right now that I'm here for sure, and I know all of these guys here do too. But just to sit down and talk to them, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we need in all these schools, for real. We need something serious like that. Programs, things that they can do, you know what I'm saying? Like how we used to, what was the Midnight League? Something like that, but not Midnight League, but some these kids don't have nothing to do. That's what's the problem, you know what I'm saying? And they get together, and when they get together, it's the things that they learn from others that's doing bad things, and they take heed to it. And then it goes on down the line. You know what I'm saying? We got to break that. You know what I'm saying?
And I think, going back to what Tracy was saying, just being in the school system for over 20 years now, it is being able to talk real. You know, we're so busy trying to make everything beautiful and all that, and our kids is dealing with some real stuff.
Yes.
You know, and we sit there and we want to talk about the future, but they want to talk about the now. Yeah. You know, because they have to go home to the real stuff, to that empty space. Yeah. You know, and I'm talking about emotionally, and I can, you know, I'll get into that emotional talk and stuff like that. And, you know, oftentimes myself, if I'm talking to a student, it's beyond how I look. It's beyond, you know, schoolwork. It's beyond that. It's that emotional. It's knowing it's okay to not be okay. You know, and that's the space when we talk about Academy for Urban Scholars, that's the space that we allow our students to be in. You know, we could get to the math. We'll get to the reading. We'll get to the English. But I want to get to know you as a person, as a student. You know, we started off Academy for Urban Scholars as a dropout recovery school, but as we really start digging in, we start realizing that it's not just about the academics, it's about the parent. So then we started adding more parents on, because when we realized that we can help you, we helping them. You know, and so then that's where all of our technology start coming in, our workforce development start coming in, and now this is across the board. We not only servicing the student, we servicing the parent. You know, last year when that whole pandemic hit, we did a questionnaire and we met with every last parent in our school. We started off the nice questions, asking you about your student, but then we started asking about you. Are you okay?
That's right. Got you.
And when the parent looked like, what I got to do with this? You got everything to do with this. You know, because if you're not okay, we know they're not going to be okay. You know, and Mike hit a very, very important point that when we work and when we move at NCUS, it's finding out how do we solve the disease, because a lot of what we're seeing is just the symptoms. You know, and so when you talk about poverty, you know, lack of education, those are diseases that is really impacting our community that we have to start really digging into. You know, and I say that I've met with many of parents, many of moms. I grew up in a primarily single parent home and everything, and nothing hurts me more to see a mom before me crying, asking, how do I help my child? And I can tell you, I experienced this over 20 to 30 times throughout the course of a school year. A parent just don't know what to do. You know, you have this mom or father. I mean, I've had both. You have mom or father, all they know to do is put food on the table. All they know to do is make sure their kids have clothes on their back and stuff like that, you know, and they're so busy fighting that on a daily basis that they don't even know how to tackle the emotional piece. So I'm going to come back to you guys. What do we do? How do we support? What is it that you guys can maybe pinpoint at a certain time in your life that you was a youngster that a parent could do more of? What happens to that parent that's just so weighed down? They're tired of coming to the parent meetings at the school. It's not that they don't want to come to the parent meetings, but it gets to a point you're just tired. Because you feel like you're doing the best you can with your child, but you still getting pulled into these parent meetings, you know. And I always let the parents know, no judgment here. Because the child is making this behavior. The child is the one who's doing this. You know, we just have to figure out the why. So going back, you know, the question is with you guys, what do I say to that mom? What do I say to that dad about their student?
A lot of it is we don't help each other, man. And when I say we really don't help, and then it goes with the brothers. I'm speaking to some of the brothers who, you know, all of us who might got numerous females. We show a certain type of characteristics that a lot of people won't say and acknowledge that plays a lot of dynamics on the son's relationship with the mother, because they look at her as if she don't have a certain respect amongst them. A lot of things is a drawback. So when we got the media playing the fact what's considered a thought, what's considered this, so this whose mind ain't mentally mature enough to really digest that you shouldn't even look at your mother in this manner, because you should hold respect for her, but they done gave a distorted ideology to them to look at their own mother, so they don't even govern. So we got to figure out how to be an example even when we don't think they look it, because that's a key part. But one thing I wanted to say before, everything that we did negative, it's a positive to it. Like if you like to fight, let me put you in mixed martial arts. If you like to argue, let's try to get you to be a motivational speaker. If you like to play the video games all day and don't do nothing else, let's get a club, because people get paid to play video games now. Let's get a club and put these kids in there, but they know they got to do what's right to be a part of it. These are the things that we do to implement to keep us from being behind, because all the things that we complain about, it's a positive to it. And if we learn how to do the positive, instead of going ahead and making them take it just, it's all negative. Don't play that game, you're playing the game too much. But it's a negative, it's a positive to it. You can make money off that, so as long as you do this, let's do that. If you like to fight, here, I'm going to take you down to this gym and see if you want to box, do martial arts. One of them, because mostly almost every last one of us has somebody. I like to fight, they put me in the boxing gym. I played almost every sport. They did these things. A lot of us don't do that, but we need to give these parents a break because we put an image on them and we don't even realize that we put an image on a mother. We put an image on a father. We don't even realize we put that image on them. So even when they ain't paying attention, man, we got to make sure we giving the parent the proper image.
I respect that. My experience, so at the end of the day, it comes back to us, right? Let me say that. At the end of the day, brothers, whether it be your woman, your wife, your mama, your auntie, your sister, we have to start cultivating a different type of relationship with our women, right? We have to. With that being said, I don't care whether it's the woman or the mother or the father. We have this mentality nowadays that it's a lazy mentality when it comes to parenting, and we got to be honest about that, right?
What you mean by that?
So, kid come home from school, instead of you engaging your kid, you let him go play the video game for 5 hours till he go to sleep, right? I ain't gonna put no names on no situation, but I had a situation where our sisters reach out to me all the time. Can you talk to my son? Can you do this? Can you do that? All right. I go to a situation to go talk to the little brother, and as I'm talking, before I even start talking to him, I know what the problem is based on how she talking. And then when we finally have a conversation, she say, well, Shimmy, literally, this is verbatim, I'm not, she say, Shimmy, I verbally abuse him so that I don't physically abuse him.
Oh, that ain't good.
Right?
That's worse.
Neither one is cool.
That might be worse.
Neither, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say, we tend to look for somebody else to do the job that we're supposed to be doing. The teachers are supposed to raise the kids, basically. The teacher is supposed to get the kids' behavior in line, basically. No, like Leroy said, you need to be actively engaged with your child. You had this child. You need to do what it takes to help raise this child. And when somebody is coming to try to help you, not be offended because you think they're making you seem like you less of a mother or less of a father. In our culture, in our community, it was a village raises a child. I got my butt tore up by 3 people before I got home. Now, not one person better not say nothing to somebody else's child, or the parents fighting in the grocery store.
Well, we definitely need more fathers around. That's number one. I'm serious with that. That's number one. When I came home, I got full custody of my kids. I wasn't playing around with that. And that's the main thing we got to do. I got full custody of my kids when I came home. I was at court. I was down there at juvenile court. I wasn't playing around with them. You know, ain't no food in the refrigerator. Well, I'll work, Your Honor. Let me take them. They ain't gonna be on no welfare. Let me handle this. And that's exactly what they did on 2 of my kids. Come on, you take them. So it starts with the fathers. We got to do more because we put too much pressure on these women. Man, come on, y'all. Y'all know I'm right about that. How much pressure we gonna put on these women in these houses trying to take care of these kids? Tell me, ain't nobody at the parent-teacher conference. Well, where the fathers at? Where they at? That's all I want to know.
It's much bigger than that, bro. It's way bigger than that. The male has been stripped out the homes long ago.
Wow. For sure.
It may not be no fathers, but it's going to be uncles, it's going to be brothers, it's going to be cousins.
Or it can be us.
If you a man, step up in your family life.
Man, please.
Them little kings, raise them to be men. You women, raise these girls to be queens, man.
Right.
Flat out, that's just how it got to be.
But you first need the definition of both of them
I
titles.
just wanted I just wanted to ask the panel something real fast because, our family structures are much different than they was in the 70s. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, now we talking about children rearing children.
Yeah, yes, sir.
This is what's going on around
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it is.
The grandmother is only 30. Come on, man. I'm not talk to me. Like, how can she chastise her child when she did same age as her child?
Yeah, she grew up with him.
You see what I'm saying? So this is a whole nother, we got to go down a whole nother hole with this. It's too long.
Whole
man.
nother subject.
Yeah,
Real.
but this is not the 70s. We in the 22nd century, bro. Like,
Like I just said, bro, to bring it up to light, right? You already understand. We all understand about the male being stripped out of the homes around the world. Understand what I'm saying? All of us, okay, I'm a parent at home. I guess 2 parents at home. You know what I'm saying? Right now, if you got a wife or whatever, you just got your kids, y'all raising them together.
that's right.
But it's kids out here that don't have a father, that been stripped from the streets, the system.
Yeah.
They've been entrapped. It's dead. But it's an uncle. You understand what I'm saying? It's a male cousin. It's some form of male in everybody's household. But that male has to step
You
up.
gotta step up.
He has to step up.
Some on me. Some on being bad.
He has to step up. You can't blame that dude's father because he in prison, because he made a mistake. Okay, his father gone. Be a good uncle.
That's right. Yeah,
Be
you're
a
right.
good brother.
Yeah.
Be a good cousin. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying that would help out.
That'll help out a
Go
whole
ahead,
lot.
Eddie.
That'll
Eddie,
help
go
out.
ahead, Eddie.
Well, Leroy pretty much covered it, and like he said, it starts at home. You don't have to be the father to raise the child.
Y'all, you don't.
There's plenty of people you call your son or your stepson that you can raise. And guys, we know everybody pretty much on this panel know. When we in prison, first thing you try to do, get in touch with your baby mama. Oh, I want to talk to my child. As soon as they get out of prison, they ain't think about that child. They chasing that baby mama when you're in prison. And when you come home, she ain't do what she's supposed to, so you penalize the kid. You don't deal with her or the child. I mean, we as black men do it. Like you say, you got 5 different women. You stressed in.
Yeah.
It's hard to spend time with all them children like that. You think because you financially supporting them or providing, you doing what you're supposed
That
to
ain't
do.
enough.
And you're not. They watching you. And so they see, all right, well, that's all I got to do, make the money and take care of them. I ain't got to be there physically. So my dad wasn't there, but I had all the J's. That's just stupid. I'm saying, I only been home a couple months, and I got nieces that I'm going to try to make up for, grandchildren, and I'm going to be there for them. I can't fix the whole community.
No, you
I can't
can't.
fix the world.
You
I
fix
just
the
did
world.
almost 30 years. I've been home like 70 days. I'm enjoying this, but it's a process.
Yes, sir.
And I'm trying to spend time and do what I have to do. I got 2 jobs now. Well, I start the second job Monday, hopefully. I never worked. So this is something new. Like, somebody talking about that Wendy's paycheck. Oh, I got my first paycheck. I was ready to quit. I said, I got to be kidding.
They paying a little bit more now, though. Hey, Eddie, they paying a little bit more now. Hey, Eddie.
Unicorn.
Hey, Eddie.
What's a unicorn?
Hey, Eddie.
Unicorn give y'all 500 a month in Fed joint.
No,
$18
no,
a
no.
month.
Like 100. It was like 100 in the feds.
All right, well, we got $18.
But look, what I want to tell you is
$18 an hour.
try to start your own business. If there ain't enough pay for you,
But I gotta
get
work
that
for it.
right now. Yeah, get that right now, and then just look down the future. Start. That's what I did. You know what I'm saying?
But my thing is,
Start
spend
your-
time with your family. If you can fix
sir.
your family going to influence their friends, and they're going to influence their community
That's
and
right.
environment. So that's all I do. I can't focus on everybody. I'm going to focus on those closest to me, though. I'm going to try to help them. They see the
There
change.
ain't
All
no
right.
definition on what a parent is no more. People don't even know what it means to be a mother. People don't even know what it means to be a mother or a father. So we access something that we haven't clearly defined or left on the table to say what it is, because it's been distorted. That's the problem. The problem is we need to put a definition and start teaching people how to live up to the definition of a father and a mother.
So, I like what Eddie was saying. I don't know, Tracy was saying actually, what it alluded, piggybacked off of that. So, you were saying find a way to start your own business, which is a dope way. Entrepreneurship is the way. that's for everybody, but especially, you know, those returning, trying to find something. And I know a couple of you have started your own businesses or nonprofits. Going down the line, can you tell me what you do now?
What I do now, I am the co-owner, me and my wife sitting right there, of Carter Wilkes Cleaning Services. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buildings that I clean. I am a DJ. Last year I DJ'd over probably 50 events, 10 weddings. So I DJ and I clean every day. I'm buffing floors. I'm cleaning carpets, cleaning windows. You know, I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to do that. One of my friends by the name of Herman Hill, he used to be the councilman in the city, and he worked at a few jobs. And he called me back in '06, changed my life. You know, Herman always been a good guy, always did the right thing for the city of Youngstown. He called me and said, "Tracy, I got a janitor job for you." And I was like, "Janitor, how much it pay, Herm?" He was like, $10 an hour, you want it? That's the best decision I ever made in my life. I started cleaning. He told me to go see the people downtown Youngstown. I went down there to see him. I started cleaning. And ever since then, that had to be like '06, I've been cleaning ever since. And now I run my own business that's cleaning, you know. So shout out to Herman for that, you know, because people do try to look out for people that come out of prison. He was one of them. He knew I had just came home, and he's like, you know, "I got something for you. Just go down here and clean these people's bathrooms and stuff. Do what you're supposed to do." And now I worked for that company for 15 years. I worked for them for 15 years. I quit. I took everything I had in it, everything I had on my ESOP and my 401k, and I told my wife, I said, "We starting our own business." I said, "We starting our own business, and we're gonna buy." We took the money, we bought us a house, and we started our own business. A couple cars, a couple vans, and we started our own business, and it's been on ever since, you know. So it's ways that you can, you know, it's things that you can do out there. The cleaning was the one that helped me. DJing and cleaning helped me. So I know it's a lot of other things that out there for everybody else to try, you know. But it's been great.
Name your business one more time.
Carter Wilkes Cleaning Service and DJ T. Wilkes.
I started off working, got injured. When I got injured, I said I wasn't gonna work for nobody else again. Because at first I was still big, getting up in the morning, going to work, doing my regular prison time. But I got started a trucking company, Austin Elite Logistics. Officially take my first loads Wednesday. Also sell clothes. Me and my wife, Heavenly Hands, we sell clothes. You know, men and, you know, I'm in Columbus, and I train dogs. So that's what I do.
For me, I work a job. You know, I'm still within the humbling stage of, you know, my transition from that life. You know, but what I'm doing while I'm working that job, I'm educating myself on a lot of things that I want to happen. I'm educating myself on it so I can do it the right way instead of jumping into this business and then it fails in a month or two, you know. So stack money, you know, while I'm working, enough to, you know, do my thing with survive. And then when I'm fully educated and I know what I want to do and the avenue to take to make it happen, that's when I'm gonna jump out there.
I like to say that I'm a barber by trade.
You messed my hair up.
A couple people done got it on this tab, right? I'm a barber by trade, but I'm an activist by design.
Yes, sir.
Right? I have my own nonprofit called Respect, and desire and my vision is to have a community resource center that specifically is aimed at addressing the issues that we are up here talking about, the violence, the destitution that we see in our young people, the desperation that we see in the brothers and sisters coming home from prison. So that's what I do.
I have two companies. One is DAB Property Groups. We flip houses. But the main thing that I'm building with this company is helping single women purchase their first home. But also, I'm setting it up where I can hire guys and women, guys and girls coming out of prison to do different types of like drywall and painting, electric, plumbing, roofing, stuff like that. Because it's hard for us when we get out of prison to get jobs. So this is my way of giving back, both ends like that. I also have another company, Determined Life Personal Training. Both of these is very passionate to me because I feel like it's a way to build you up any way possible, physically or mentally, or even just building a home for you.
I've been working for 6 years. Can't believe it. But I've been working for 6 years, same job since I came home. And, it's something that basically I'm doing. I like it a little bit. When the doors open, I'm definitely going to look for something to get into as far as my own business. I do stocks and bonds here, but, it's coming along, and I just recently closed on a house. So I just bought a house. Wow, thank you. And that's it, basically, came a long way. Before you pass the mic, Troy, before you pass the mic, who the dopest barber you ever been to? Oh, you. Yeah, Keelan. All right. Hey, it take you 6 months to get a haircut, but I just wanted to know.
Right, yeah, that's stay booked up. Well, I work full-time and I'm an entrepreneur. I own several businesses in Youngstown. Right now, I got a couple businesses on the shelf that I'm about to start. One of them is it's a delivery service, spirits and more, but it'll be rolling out probably at the beginning of the next month. But it's almost procrastination because I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be perfect. But that's what I do. I done had a corporation since 17 years. I've been out 17 years without a hitch.
Yeah, good job, good job.
And I done did everything, the right way. I try to do everything the right way anyway.
Eddie. Tracy. Somebody send a dollar score. I'm just working right now. I have a few plans. I have a business and I'm trying to start up. I have a mentor who's been working with me. She's getting on my nerves right now, but she's helping me along. And I'm going to get in the box truck business too. I've been procrastinating. I'm supposed to have my CDLs by now, and I've been dragging my feet. So I had to know by
Well, you only been home 70 days. You working
I
on
know,
it.
and that's what I say. I know too hard, but it's just so much I want to do and accomplish, and you have to hit the ground running, because if you drag your feet, 3 years have passed and you still ain't did nothing. Exactly. I ain't about to let that happen. So, so I got a team that's working with me and helping me, you know what I'm saying? I'm hard-headed, but I get it done.
And everybody, y'all get with Darnell, y'all trying to buy a house, because he definitely flipping houses in Youngstown. Yeah, he's flipping them. Yeah, he's flipping them. That's what we need. Yep. Home ownership. If we all can, a lot of people already own their homes.
Hey, so look, real quick, right? So we're gonna do like 4 more questions, and then wrap it up, right? But I want the questions. All of this is cool, but I want the questions to really be geared towards what we're trying to accomplish. Right?
Got you.
What's that?
I
What's
definitely,
that?
I definitely want to ask some of the panel two things. I'm just gonna say before we move on to those questions and stuff like that. My man with the other Dallas fan, I cannot remember your name. I'm so
Tracy
sorry.
or Derek?
Derek. And Tracy. And Darnell. I got a mentor that always tells me, serve the needs of others. Serve yourself, serve your needs by serving the needs of others.
Wow.
And that's exactly what Tracy did first, serving the needs in the janitorial service before he was able to open his own business with his wife. So what you're doing is perfectly fine, and it's on the way, and it's taking the proper steps that you need to do, and that's for each and every one of y'all. Serve your needs by serving the needs of others first. Darnell, what you're doing and getting ready to do the drywall thing. Listen, pandemic happened, right? One major business never went out. Building homes. It never stopped. Perfect thing you need to do.
Hold up, janitorial didn't stop me.
And janitorial.
We got bigger.
For sure, y'all got bigger.
We definitely got bigger.
One of them grew through that.
Yeah, we
They grew through
Everybody
that.
was like, "Did you get the PPP?" I said, "For
Never
what?"
stopped.
I said, "I didn't have to get the PPP." I
Never
said, "We didn't stop working. We got bigger." You know?
Plumbing, building houses, janitorial work never stopped. That's you're leading other people into that. So
And every building in Youngstown, every building in Ohio, they need somebody to clean it. So if that's what you want to get in, and they need somebody to paint it, all that type of stuff, you know.
And he get money.
Exactly.
Check his pockets. I'm telling you, check his
Well, all right,
pockets.
all right. Come on.
Ain't nothing there but some cards.
To
Go
go
ahead,
back to
Sabrina.
what Shimmy had all brought us here for, as we were preparing for tonight and you guys were coming through the building and everything, and I heard the laughter. I grew up in the 90s. I graduated in 93, but I grew up knowing you guys. One way or another.
What school? I wonder what school.
Cheney High School.
Oh, we didn't come over there.
But I represent your West Side.
Hey, that was South
No,
last
no,
year.
That
was South last
I
year,
actually grew up
93.
on the South Side, and just to give you guys a little background, Butch was my stepdad. Butch Favors was my stepdad. So I know you guys. Let me just say that. I know you guys. All right. But to really go back to when I heard you guys coming through the building and you guys are hugging each other, like, and I'm a crybaby. I'm a little bit behind Shimmy. Just a little bit behind Shimmy. You know, Shimmy got me. Shimmy got me a little bit. You know, Shimmy got me a little bit. But yeah, shit, you know, me and Shimmy always crying together. But
That's a good thing. Get it out. Get it out.
It's
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
okay.
We men.
It's okay to not be okay.
That don't change your manhood.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's why me and Shimmy bond the way we do. That's why we bond. But I was in my office and I was like this when you guys were coming through and you guys are hugging each other and like, oh, we got to take pictures and all that kind of stuff together. To go back and think about, I'm going to say, the beef, as the kids would say. To go back and think about the beef. What does that mean right now? Some of you guys touched on it, but I want everybody to really touch on what does that mean to be in the room with all of you now, to all be on this panel.
Well, I really don't want to be in the room with Shimmy right now, because that's where the beef started with me and him. Because I went to a store I went to the mall, the Hillman Mall, one day. And I'm just going to Hillman Mall to buy me a couple t-shirts, you know, some little stuff, you know, some cross colors or something. And when I come out, it's Shimmy standing there, asking me what I'm doing on the South Side. So I'm like, I was kind of, now I had my gun on me, but I was like, this would have beef started with between me and him. So I'm like, What do you mean? I'm coming to shop. I'm coming to get some clothes. What you mean? He's like, you know, you niggas ain't allowed over here. You know, y'all ain't supposed to be over here. This is where the beef started with me and him. And then my friend was in there, Mike Brooks. He was in the store. Mike Brooks came out and was like, man, come on, man. Leave my cat alone talking to Jimmy. I was talking to him. And we just went on to our cars. He steady was yapping. Y'all niggas ain't out over here. Don't come over here with that. Y'all got KMP. Y'all got your own stores. Y'all ain't got no business on here. So I'm like, oh, so I go back to the Brooks and tell everybody what Jimmy, what he said. So that started the beef right there. That was it. And then my beef with Erickville is I went downtown to the City Fest just to eat some snacks. The City Fest downtown to go get me a funnel cake or something. And then when I looked around, I seen a scuffle going on. I'm like, what is going on? It was him and it was Erickville. It was Erickville and Eric Shields. I ain't gonna never forget it. And I looked around and I see the scuffle, and then here they coming towards me. I'm like, what is going on? So when I look back, it was just fights everywhere. And you know where it started? The Ready Rock Boys. They started the fights down at the City Fest.
And so that was the last year for the City Fest.
Yeah, they chased me. Yeah, they chased me out my shoes. So I'm running. I ran away from the snack stand. I'm trying to get up toward that church where the new YSU. I'm towards YSU. I'm like, they ain't catching me. So that's where the beef started with him.
Hey, you need to be a comedian.
You know that's where it started.
I don't even remember that situation. Quit putting me into that.
Hard.
Hey, I was loud in the Brooks.
Yeah, we didn't have no problem with that. We let anybody come for it. That's where the beef started.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike. Mine's South High School.
I'm actually, my grandmother stayed on Glen Haven. I got kicked out of East High. They sent me to South. I go to South. First couple of days I'm walking through. Second week there, I get in the fight in the gym. I get out on the dude. Run back, come back. Next day I'm walking to school. My cousin down on the bottom of the steps. She's like, don't come in. They about to jump me. So I'm like, who? Now a couple of these guys, I knew. They done migrated to the South Side. They started in the projects with me. So now I'm beefing with everything on the South Side. This became my motto. But I came back. It's a guy. I mention him to this day. I came back the next day because I told everybody in Brooks to meet me up in South the next day. They said, all right, Boomer ready. Walked me through the school and said, if y'all want to fight him, y'all got to fight me too. All day long, he was skipping class with me. We going to fight together, side by side. He had my back, walked me through. Did nobody want no one-on-one here because Boomer was right there with me. But I'm kind of quiet all day. I was quiet all day. Walked out, everybody come outside. They looking at me about to get me. I stand by my cousin, Marlon Gilmore. I stand by him. He like, what's up? I ain't saying nothing. I'm still waiting on the Brooks. Because even though this is my family, the Brooks who I need. I hear me and Kid Sensation on our way from home and that black Benz left. And I look, I see the Brooks. I took my clothes off. What y'all want to do now? Who want to do it? We fight. From there on, I felt like the South Side was a beef. You know, so, and I grew up with most of the guys. My brother stayed on the corner of him and Glen Haven forever. Wow. And me and Jimmy played on every juvenile team.
Hey, just like what Darnell was saying earlier, ain't got no real personal beef with none of these brothers like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just being associated. Association got me into a lot of beefs. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that it was a bad thing, because you mess with my dudes, you mess with me. You know, it was just like that. That was the mentality I had. So I had a lot of beefs within their beefs. And that was one of those decisions, you know what I'm saying, that helped shape that type of life. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I didn't think it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I was encouraging.
So that's all I had to say about that.
Leroy had beef with everybody. But in basketball, Leroy started.
Well, actually, our beef, like, it was going on for so long from fighting first. Our beef started from childhood friends fighting,
That's that new train.
6-pack and B-train.
Yeah.
You know, then we had our east side, north side beef as well. Then along came the Red Rock Boys. Oh boy. It was crazy because like I didn't like them because they was from Detroit and we was from Youngstown. And they tried to come to our hood and take over our hood. How I was looking at it. Now over the years I understood and broke down our beef. I really understood. Shimmy, he had the worst childhood out of all of us on this panel. I can honestly say, and I'm pretty sure everybody here can agree. Like, he had to make the decision that he did. Poverty, like, just young, like, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I'm gonna get back to it. But that was part of the stuff to the beef. But I really was taking on I really was standing on the South Side. This the South Side. Ain't nobody coming from over here. No.
See, I can go to the store. See what I'm saying?
And it was a lot of dynamics with this too, as well, because it was some things that happened, and the Red Rock Boys got into it with some family members that was in D-Train. I didn't understand how they became cool. I didn't understand it. We just recently talked about how they became cool outside of that beef that they had, because they wasn't cool at first. They ended up getting cool in the midst of that too. But Shimmy, man, this cat right here, man, he was a ringleader. He used to bring these cats, man. Eddie, this cat right here, man. D-Train, Raider Rock Boys. / the South Side. Understand what we saying? We all standing up for the South Side. Then we went to our separate groups. Then we went to fighting within the same stuff. Like, it was crazy. I went to prison and came home and was asked Keith, like, what you doing with Darnell? What you doing with Darnell?
Wow.
What you doing? He did this. Man, he part of the South Side now, bro. He part of the South Side.
That's crazy.
I ain't understand it. I still walked away from Keith, still mad, but Keith was the common denominator in that. Me and Darnell didn't get along, and like he said, for what reason, that was my reason, but like their beef was, it was a lot of hate. They had cars. Man, these guys made some, hey, let me tell you a story though. They made some Nike Cortez's Red Rock Boys shoes. Everybody in Youngstown was running around with some Nike Cortez or some of their Red Rock Boys.
He was trendsetting.
I swear they look at the magnitude of all the negativity. Now, look at all the positive stuff that came out. Look at this stuff right here. There's people that's getting paid on these blogs right now in these bigger states and bigger cities for the same stuff we sit here doing now. You see what I'm saying? This stuff really is important in everybody's hood. Get out, reach out, teach out, however you choose to do it. A lot of us is kind of like, me personally, I'm kind of doing it through the sport aspect, because I can get to them kind of, like that right there. Through the sport aspect, but.
Let me say too, Leroy, this isn't gonna stop. What we doing here, it can't stop.
No.
It's too important. We just warming up. This was just the pre. So me and Shimmy didn't already talk about how you talked about the blog. That's the reason I'm saying it. How we can make a series out of this. Bringing women in, bringing mothers in, and really having some real conversations, because that's what our community needs to hear. You know, all that music and all that, you know, clothes and all that other stuff, that's fine and dandy. That comes afterwards. But these are the conversations that our scholars, our parents, our community, they need to hear and hear the after, you know. Because some people, as I told you, growing up myself, I knew you guys growing up, but now just to see you guys now and see the after, you know, that's what's really important. So I look forward to collaborating with you guys more and more. And, you know, as Eddie said, you know, we can't save everybody, but with this crew right here, we can save a lot. We can save a lot.
So for me, it simply started with honestly misplaced loyalty. And quite frankly, it's low self-esteem, right? And I'm serious about this. So like, for any youngin who listening, who watching, you know what I'm saying? First and foremost, be loyal to yourself. First and foremost, be loyal to yourself, right? And believe in yourself. All of my beefs was about my loyalty to Darnell and Man and the Radio Rock boy. We was ready. That was because they fed me. I was hungry. I was homeless. They put money in my pockets. He'll tell you to this day he should have kept telling me to play football. He gave me what he knew, drugs, right? Everybody else talking about me, cracking on me. They feed me. It's a no-brainer. So I'm beefing with my dudes who I grew up with because they feed me. I'm beefing with somebody whose bed I slept in, whose attic I slept in because I ain't had nowhere to go because they feed me. To this day, this is my guy. I love him to death, right? Because he supports me and he wants to see me win. But I have misplaced loyalties to him because they was feeding me. Be loyal to yourself first. Have confidence in yourself. Believe in yourself. And anybody who is meant to be in your life is going to be in your life and they're going to support that. And they're going to want to see you win. But that's from all my beefs came from being loyal to them.
The thing about it is, by me being from Detroit, coming down here selling drugs, me and my brother, we brought Detroit mentality down here. So we had it bad. We was on the south side. North side didn't like us, all parts. East side didn't like us, all parts. And a lot of people on the south side didn't like us. So we basically had it bad. But the thing about it was, we didn't disrespect nobody. I'm not saying like everybody disrespect us. I'm not saying that, but it was just miscommunication on everything. You know, we was blamed for a lot of stuff that we didn't do. If the wrong people tell you, they said it's like 15, 20 of us came down here. All of us had trucks. All of us had this. All of us had this. We had that. It wasn't that. But the whole thing about it was, every beef that I was in, it didn't start for me. And, you know, a few people on this panel can tell you, like, they come to me, they got a problem, I'm like, let's go handle it. Think about everything else later. That was the wrong, now that I know that was the wrong mentality to have. Like, the best thing to do now is, if you got a problem with somebody, try to talk to them, find somebody that you know they know, because you know somebody knows somebody that they'll respect or whatever, and just talk it out. Because, like, the whole thing about it, everybody up here is talking about, is this. We all beef on each other for no apparent reason. Nobody know what it's about. I can honestly say I did not get into no beefs with nobody on this panel personally. it was always generated around somebody else or a misunderstanding. But the thing about it is, I'm a firm believer in knowing that it's always a third party. So what I mean by that is this. You can have one group of people and turn them against another group of people. And that's what I believe that happened a lot. Because, exactly. So the thing about it is with that, is like, this one person is scared of this group, so they figure like, well, they can play like they this group, so this group can be for that group. So they'll be okay. No, that's not okay. Mind your business. If you don't like a person, just mind your business. That's not for you to go and start up with nobody else. And like I said before, like me and Tracy had a conversation, and during the conversation, he's like, man, you ain't nothing like everybody say you was. Me and Mike didn't have a conversation. Same thing came back. Like, one of the guys, I always tell a story. It was Vic Huntley. Me and Vic Huntley's from Kettlebrook. With anybody around me, he would come to me. Like one time, me and Eddie was at what was that club on the east side, Underground. Something happened, east side and south side. So me and Eddie ended up getting out of it. And who did we bump into? Always by himself. Keep going places that he shouldn't be by himself. Yes. So we tell him, such this happened, leave. But anyway, I'm sitting at the barbershop one Wednesday morning. I used to go to the barbershop every Wednesday. Everybody knew it. And they called up there. And, I told him I'm about to be done. So by the time I got done, he was out in the back waiting on me. Me and him talk. And I was like, yeah, I know y'all ain't had nothing to do with it. And we ain't had nothing to do with it. But the whole thing, the reason why I mentioned that is we didn't even like each other. Didn't know why. And when we talked, we was like, damn, what we beefing for? But we got to understand it, whereas anything happen, we can always come to each other and talk it out. That's what needs to be happening today.
Yeah, definitely. Shoot, I don't even know where to begin. Shit. I'm gonna tell this story. I used to be on the south side. I'm from the north side. Used to always be on the south side with my cousin all the time. I used to always see these cats fight and all of that stuff when I was growing up. They're a little older than me. I used to see them fight and everything. But I had my own little situations going on the north side. But I'm on the south side as I got older. On the south side, we down, as you say, down at the bottom of the hill on the south side. Up the hill and the bottom. We on the bottom, so I'm in the house, me and my cousins and all them, we in the house. I think I went to get something to eat. I comes back, the goddamn house down there to the ground. I'm like, what the fuck? What happened to the house? Like, man, it's them goddamn Railroad boys. Oh, it's them Railroad boys. I'm like, what? Railroad boys? I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's how it all started. You know what I'm saying? I woke up looking for them. I went to sleep dreaming about them. I forgot about the beef that I did have. You know what I'm saying? The other people shooting at me. I'm like, what is he shooting at me? I'm like, damn. I'm blaming it on the Railroad boys. It wasn't even the Railroad boys. But anyway, it's crazy though. You know what I'm saying? Like, but hey, it was just so much going on them days. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot going on, But I'm glad right now when Rick came home. Rick thought that we still had beef. It was, no. I had left that situation alone and everything, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, me and him ended up talking. And me and Rick got cool after that. It's my dude. You know what I'm saying? Then me and Darnell talk and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna be completely honest though. If we can do that, I know these kids out here can do that. You know, you can come together and be friends, you know what I'm saying, and stop the madness out here, you know what I'm saying? And I truly mean that, man. You know what I'm saying? These good dudes. I talked to them and everything, you know what I'm saying? Got to know who they were, you know what I'm saying? And before I pass this mic, I want to touch on what Leroy was saying, you know, because I wasn't even from the South Side, but, you know, everybody knew who I was, and, you know, I ain't had no problem with nobody really on the South Side till the Ray Rock thing. But I used to always say, because I knew these guys, you know what I'm saying, in some way or fashion, I be used to saying like, man, how the heck is Shimmy with these dudes? And, you know, I understand Shimmy, I understand Eddie, all of them was friends. All of them was friends, you know what I'm saying? No matter where you was from, you know what I'm saying? But it was a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying? You know, they was friends and they had each other's backs and all of that. And today, now at this panel and all of us sitting up here, man, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful thing. And whatever shit we got going on, hey, we gonna continue to do this, for real. We gonna try to get something for these kids to look the right way, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on right now.
Well, I'm really not a beefer. I'm a finisher. You started, I'm finishing it. But it was just with me, with the beefs, with the brothers, you know what I'm saying? It just came down to this. We adopted this model when it was D-Train. You know, it was the original 5 DNA. You know what I'm saying? D-Train. It was like, and then we adopted a few more other people after that. But we was never considered a gang. We was a club, but we just had to protect ourselves. But we adopted a model: if one person put their hand up, everybody put their hand up. And so if he beefing, I'm beefing, whatever beefing is. But that's what we did. And because I'm a people's person, I like to bring people together and not tear them apart. And that's why I was able to move like I moved back in the day. I could go on the east side of town, except some parts of the north side, because they a lot of haters over there. But lot of haters, but I still was protected somewhat. East side, I it was always good. You know, I could move freely over there. But yeah, but that's my
After Eddie, I'm gonna be gone.
the beef.
Yeah, Gastineau was crazy.
I gotta get this out. All right, my beef started. I didn't have no beef personally with nobody up here but Troy. In case you didn't know, all these other guys up here, I just beefed with them because of other issues. If my friends had a problem with you, I took it as my responsibility and went a little far and overboard at points.
Yeah, too far.
Yeah, I know, but that's my personality. But Troy, personally, Jonte Campbell took us over his house one day because Shimmy was at Hayes and they tried to jump him and they thought he was Jonte. And he came to ring-a-wing flinging and told us. You little, we kids. So we catch the city bus over there like, oh, we about to go whoop him. We get over there, we too early. We stop and hide at his house to hide out till Hayes let out at 2:30. He leave and go tell all, I don't think it was you, it might have been your brother. But one of them went and told. So by the time we walked from behind Rand up to Hayes, these dudes in cars with bat sticks, they waiting on us. They know we coming. Tremaine LaFleur. Remember it was Tremaine, me, Shimmy, man, all them, man. Yeah, they caught Tremaine, held him down, beat him, like tell them, man, this is what we don't do. Oh, man, that started the beef right there, though. He went and told on us. And before we make it up to Hayes, they was up there waiting on us. But Johnny K like, oh, this is my cousin. We can hide out over his house until school let out. So I'm like, cool. It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock. We go over there and get something to drink, some little weed, we smoke, we gonna go fight when school let out. Man, we leave early, 1:45, because we got to walk over there. They get in the car, Jack Menegal, all them show up. We get beat in the corner, and there's like 50 people waiting. Maurice Trimble there, he got a 22 with no clip. He's trying to cock it and put a bullet in. Oh, I stole him so quick. Man, but he told him. And so I was beefing with him personally. And he moved to Ashtabula or something. I couldn't find it. I looked, they told me, like, oh, he got in Ashtabula. Oh, well, when I see his butt, it's on, you know. I took it personal, but they jumped. Loose with his dude. Yeah. But all my beefs was for somebody else, for real. I ain't never get into it with nobody personally. But I also just didn't let things slide. Like if I felt you tried to play somebody I was cool with, just because they don't want problems, I do. And so I had a problem with that. Even in prison, I took that mentality to prison. It just got different. That's how we got cool in prison, because it's Youngstown now against Cleveland. Youngstown against these dudes. Cleveland beat, and they beat it. So Youngstown had to let them know, I mean, we stick together. I don't care what went on the street. You ain't beat no Youngstown dude up like that. It's just not happening. And so if we can come together in there, like I said, when we come out here, why we can't come together now? I remember calling home, and little Keith like, yeah, we at East High School at a karate show. I said, what? Y'all at East High School at a karate show? But the gang stuff transformed the dynamics as well. So all of the blood from South, East, North all hung together. He like, oh no, he down with the family. I said, he ain't in my family. I ain't going no East. I never stepped foot inside East School ever. I've been in the parking lot. I ain't going to East School.
That's why I said everything got better.
And actually, you know what I realized? We don't like each other because we so much alike. And once you get to knowing a person, you know, you meet a person, you don't like him. Like, I don't like him. As soon as you do something, it'll go in his mouth. You know, you just wait for opportunity. But you see yourself in that person. And you're like, man, I don't like this dude because he might be arrogant. You might think he's cocky, but you really see yourself, though. And I don't like him because there's something about him that reminds me of me. And I don't like that about me. And so I'm going to hurt this dude because hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
Hurt people hurt people. Prison saved me, and I appreciate prison because it gave me another outlook on life. And if you can come together like they said there and help, and I worked with you from prison. I like y'all. I work with y'all, but I'm rough on them. I be hard on them, but I like them because I want them to do better, and I want to see, you know, people live. People dying at 14. That boy died at 14. He didn't have a chance to live. I don't care what he did. You know, you can always make amends, or once you did, you did. It's already gone. So it's sad that that happened, and I'm glad that y'all are meeting. I'm in Columbus. I will get down here as much as I can, but like right now, I got to hit this road. It's snowing bad. I'm looking out this window.
Yeah, it is.
Inches.
With that being said, even though we're gonna do a couple more questions, we're gonna, because of the snow, man, we're gonna call it. I appreciate y'all coming, man. Hold on, Tracy, slow down. Because I want, you know, give Sabrina a chance to say something before we leave. But I appreciate y'all coming, man. At the end of the day, man, the whole purpose, the whole goal of this, man, is to try to put something out into these youngsters, man. An opportunity to use what they into, social media, to pour something into them, at least give them something to think about. That ain't normal, man. You know what I'm saying? That we all are in blessed situations, to have come through those situations, right? And to be able to come and give what we've learned and pour it back into them and try to help them, man. So I appreciate y'all showing up.
Thanks for
Well, I don't have anything really else to say besides this is just the beginning of really making an impact. So I thank you guys for coming. It was nice seeing you guys again. Stay safe. Safe travels, Eddie. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I got you. You know where it was, everything.
These things are still live.
I'm more the person, you know,
Right, don't get loud, Mike.
All right, y'all, I'm signing out.
Be safe, man.